mind control, it's a big one and it's happening. And I really wanted to, and this is why I've written notes, because one, actually, let me just have a little caveat here. This video, this live is about creating awareness, not fear, because it is only through awareness that we can become empowered. So please don't take this information that I'm sharing and get fearful about it. Use it as a way to become empowered within yourself, because the more you know, the more we stop turning a blind eye and pretending things aren't happening, the more empowered we become. And we are being controlled. There is so much evidence out there, if you're willing to look for it. And I'm going to share just a couple. I'm just going to share two patents. One was from 1974, so that's like 8 years before I was born. It's like 45 years ago. So it's not like this is new. This has been around for a long time. And I'm going to just share two, just to give a little bit of context and understanding of just a small piece of what is already out there and happening. Because if we don't become aware of it and become more knowledgeable around how technology is being used against us, then we're going to walk down a path that is not going to be a very enjoyable path to be on. And there is some amazing technology that we can use and tap into. So I'm not saying all technology is bad. It's the way it's being used at the moment that is a problem. So let me just read. Where is it? I'm going to read this other one first. Hang on. Okay, so this was a patent that was filed August the 5th, 1974. Now, these are available for, like, you can find them. If you want the information, if you want the patent number, just message me, because I'll give it to you. I'm not going to post these online. And to give credit where credit is due, I got this information from a webinar that I watched recently. And if you want that information, I actually encourage you to get that off of me, because I'm only going to be sharing a little snippet of it. I'm not going to be going right into all of this, but this is purely just to bring awareness. And this webinar was highly, it was just all fact. It was just all based on fact. There was nothing brought in that was speculation or anything like that. It was just, these patents exist, and they exist because this technology is out there and being used. So let me read you this one. Apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering brainwaves. So it's an apparatus for and method of sensing brainwaves at a position remote from a subject, whereby electromagnetic signals of different frequencies are simultaneously transmitted to the brain of the subject, in which the signals interfere with one another to yield a waveform which is modulated by the subject's brainwaves. The interference waveform, which is representative of the brainwave activity, is retransmitted by the brain to a receiver, where it is demodulated and amplified. The demodulate waveform is then displayed for visual viewing and routed to a computer for further processing and analysis. The demodulated waveform also can be used to produce a compensating signal, which is transmitted back to the brain to effect a desired change in electrical activity therein. So this can be done from anywhere. Ooh, we're just falling down. And yeah, this is technology since 1974. So this is the other one that I wanted to share. There was more, but these were like the two that I'm like, what the fuck? Thought transmission unit. This is November 2002, so 17 years ago. Thought transmission unit sends modulated electromagnetic wave beams to human receiver to influence thoughts and actions without electronic receiver. So a thought transmission unit sends modulated electromagnetic wave beams over long distances to human receiver to influence the thoughts, actions, or perceptions of the organism with or without their consent. but without them requiring an electronic receiver. That is the big fuck off one that I was like, what the fuck? I knew, you knew that it was already out there. I knew that it was happening, but this was like, it's right there, written. These are the patents, and this is the technology that has been used. So it kind of makes you question a lot, actually. And this is my whole thing. It's like, fucking just question everything, because this technology allows thought loops to be injected, essentially, but through a waveform, into our brain. So think about the rising rates of anxiety and depression, and think about all of those thought loops that you have every single day. And are they actually yours? This is the question that you want to be asking yourself, because when you meditate, for example, and you become really you slow your breathing, you calm down, and you're connected, and you can feel, if you just start to watch and observe the mind, you can feel a thought that is yours, because it rises up and you feel it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's a thought that I normally have. And then you can feel when a thought is not yours. And this is technology that is being used everywhere. You can't walk through an Australian airport without having technology like this, taking your heart rate and, whether you're perspiring and all of these other tests that they do in every Australian airport. That's why we don't have security that, holding machine guns, because the security is coming, it's literally being beamed through you. And yeah, well, that's all about safety and keeping us safe. It's also a way of slowly bringing in greater and greater technologies. So the thing is, people can think that I need a tinfoil hat, and that's fine. I'm completely okay with that. I'm 18 days into this challenge now, and I've shared some pretty crazy stuff, but I am somebody who I question everything. Everything goes through like the, is this really true filter? And one of the things that was just so undeniable about this webinar that I watched was it was just facts that were being presented. And so there is currently 2 professors in Switzerland that are putting together, it's called the Neurospecific Human Rights Bill Proposal. And in this webinar, he does share just a small snippet of it. And I think he shared like 3 pages. It's apparently a massive, massive document. But in that, they basically are wanting to create a new human rights bill that stops this from happening. It's called cognitive liberty. It's like basically the powers that be, whoever they might be, basically think that we are commodities and our thoughts are something that they can own. Corporations want to control us, so even more. So the fact that there is a Bill of Rights that is being proposed against this is certainly enough evidence to go, oh, okay, so it's clearly happening. Like there's professors researching like how they can stop this from happening, because at the moment our human rights are being violated. They're being violated because people think that their private thoughts are private, and they're not. They're absolutely not. They are being used and stored. And yeah, there's a place in Australia that houses, and there's more now because it got so much that this one place in Pine Gap couldn't hold all the information, where literally all of our emails, our phone, all of it's all being recorded, whatever. All of it is being stored and going through their systems. Everything on the internet, every search, our conversations. You know, how often have you spoken to your friend, be talking to your friends, not even on Facebook, nowhere near it, but you've spoken about, go on to Bunnings. I think I used this example the other day. You go on to Bunnings and then next thing you log on to Facebook and it's all Bunnings ads. That's why it's not just being voice activated though. It is our mind as well, which is, it's kind of, I don't want to use the word scary, because I think that it's just once we have awareness of it, we can start to become empowered. And there are processes, like we are sovereign human beings. There are processes that we can do that stop that from happening. But it can't happen unless we are aware of it. So, yeah, I'm going to keep this short today because it's really just, I want to invite those who feel called to find out more, just message me and I'll be happy to share the information. I'm not going to share it out here just because the nature of Facebook. But it's a really eye-opening, and I already, you can probably tell from my videos, I have a pretty open mind. Like nothing really phases me too much. When I hear something, I'm like, if it resonates as truth, I'm like, oh yeah, wow. So for me, it wasn't that far out, but still I learned so much from it because there was just some really valuable information that just makes it just so easy to digest without going into fear, because he also shares some practices that you can use. And yeah, knowing that we as humans, the whole universe exists within us. So the thing is, once we know and we become consciously aware of what is happening, then we can start to do something about it. Don't fall into the fear spiral and go into like the victim archetype, that all of this is being used against us, because this is not what it's about. This is not like, yeah, it's happening, but I don't go into the victim about it. It's like, oh, wow, cheeky little fuckers, like this is what they're doing. Let's actually stand up and do something about it. Be aware. And if you game, share it with people. Like it's not, I'm past caring if people think I'm crazy or not, because I know I'm not. And I just want this information to get out there. It's another huge part of remembering my original intention for coming to Earth, is to call out this shit that is going on that is not serving humanity. We're here to evolve. Like, let's just fuck off this 3D shit and just like start living our full potential. When we start tapping into our genius of why we came here. Every human is a genius. Society likes to think that there's only these select special few that are a genius. Everyone has genius. You've just got to remember what it is and go through the process of actually figuring it out, because it isn't as simple as just going, oh yeah, that's it. It's a process of peeling back all the layers and really delving into the truth of who you are. And when you remember that you are an infinite creator being that has come here to experience the whole gamut of experience of being human and to play your part in the evolution of humanity and the earth doesn't need us to save it. The earth is an amazing being who has got this. Humanity needs humanity to save ourselves. We're the ones that are in trouble, not the earth. That doesn't mean we keep throwing rubbish and disrespecting the earth. Yeah, we've got to change that. But ultimately, the earth, she's got this. What she needs is for us to have this, to go within and figure out who the fuck we are and actually do something about it and step into what it is we came here to do. And that doesn't, it's not always in a career sense. It's just remembering our infinite potential and the what's the word that I'm looking for? But, you know, like the intention. Let's go there. What was your original intention for coming here? You don't have to go through a process of doing 21 days of videos to find that out. It's just a process of tuning in. And well, yeah, there's so much power in processing it in a live format and having people witness it and people judge it and all of that stuff. The whole, oh gosh, the whole process that happens because of that is magnificent and huge and challenging in and of itself. But you don't have to do that to figure out why you came here. But it is your job to figure it out. Everyone's job is to figure out why they came here, if you want to call it a job. So thank you all for joining me.